Hello Speed Duelists and welcome to a bit of fun. Imagine that you could add one card to the Speed Duel pool regardless of its status in the TCG. That is a question I asked a brave group of players and they played a tournament with it, and the cards on screen are the ones that made it to the top 4. So let's get into the coverage of the matches. First off, we are gonna be seeing Jazz Hands, who chose to add Graceful Charity to his deck, facing off against Pink Zero, who is playing the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. And Pink Zero is on the Fusion Party skill. We see excellent opening hand, but Jazz Hands was allowed to go first. So he's gonna Toon Table into Toon Table into Toon Table into Toon Ancient Gear Golem. Is then going to Hero Lives for Clayman. Graceful Charity draws him into excellent. He's gonna discard Clayman and the White Elephant's Gift. Trade-in is next, drawing another Graceful Charity. Yep. That draws Trade-in, White Elephant's Gift, another Trade-in. Yeah. White Elephant's Gift is gonna put away the Clayman, draw 2. Allure of Darkness is next, but no darks, so Jazz Hands will be discarding his entire hand, but he has 20 cards in the graveyard. That's his entire deck. He is going to use the skill, and that triggers the effect of Exchange the Spirit in the graveyard. Let's head into game number 2. Pink Zero starting the duel, but they bricked. So they just have to set their cards and pass the turn. And there is something interesting here, but let's see if it comes up. So yeah, Trade-in, gonna discard the Toon Ancient Gear Golem. Here is Clayman, following up with White Elephant's Gift. And Graceful Charity is next, so that's gonna discard Trade-in and Hero Lives. Another Graceful Charity. That's gonna discard the Hero Lives and the Exchange of Spirits. Here is Allure of Darkness, and Pink Zero gonna scoop it up, but they could have just activated Waboku. Then they would have had one card in the graveyard, and yeah, then the Exchange of Spirit trick wouldn't have worked because Jazz Hands is not playing Medora. So Pink Zero, if you're watching this, that's something to keep in mind. A more interactive match then is Delicatus versus Gamebrain. And Delicatus chose to add Infernal Queen Salmon to the deck. So basically when this card is normal special summoned, you get to special summon the King Salmon from your deck or graveyard or hand. Plus, if it is destroyed while you possess it, you get tokens. And Gamebrain chose to add That Grass Looks Greener to his deck. You mill cards from your deck until your deck is the same size as your opponent's. So Speed Duel, the difference between a minimum deck and a maximum deck is considerably less than in the TCG, but Gamebrain made it work somehow. Delicatus kicking things off with Bountiful Ocean, no, Legendary Ocean. So that is gonna tour guide to the underworld the Terror King Salmon. Unfortunately, no rank 5 exceeds. You could only add one non-Speed Duel card to the deck. And yeah, Foolish Burial is gonna send the Lavia Dragon, and the skill will add that back to the hand. Okay, here it goes. Gamebrain activates That Grass Looks Greener, had 25 cards in the deck, so we'll be milling 10 cards. And we see an Armed Dragon package, also an Exchange of the Spirits. Let's see how far he can go with this. Foolish is gonna send Medora. Guard Trooper is gonna mill 3 more. And oh, yeah, already scooping, because there was the Medora in the graveyard that could put back the Foolish Burial. And yeah, then there were still enough cards left to activate Exchange of the Spirits. So we're going into game number 2. And this time Gamebrain gets to go first, and he doesn't have the all-powerful That Grass Looks Greener. Delicatus gonna start things off, adding the legendary Ocean, activating it, normal summoning the Queen, that special summons the King, playing around the Quaking Mirror Force. Looks like it. But Game Brain doesn't have it. Oh, he does have it. I'm not paying attention. But yeah, Game Brain is gonna use the skill to look at the top 2 cards of his deck, to That Grass Looks Greener, and adds 1. And it's gonna activate it, milling 10 cards again. There is the exchange of the spirits, but not much else. So let's see, he's gonna use the Melody of Awakening Dragon, adding 2 Armed Dragon Whites, banishes the exchange of the spirits, yeah, to activate the effect. So let's skip forward a bit. As we resolve the exchange of spirits. Dueling Book needs a macro for this. If they can do it for Fiber Jar, surely they can do it for exchange of the spirits. Anyway, how was your guys' week? Let me know, let me know. Okay, it has been resolved. Okay, here is Armed Dragon level 10 white. And no battle phase. So Game Brain passes the turn. And Delicatus, you can't see the chat, but predicts 1 sphere in the hand, right? Premature Burial activated for the Levia that Game Brain so graciously put in there. And will be activating the effect to send everything, not including itself, right? Destroy all other cards on the field. Ah, but Premature Burial went, so yeah. Activating Medora to put back a Legendary Ocean, an Offerings to the Doomed, and an enemy controller. Adding that Legendary Ocean to the hand. Normal summoning the Queen, which special summons the King. And then Bountiful to add Levia back. And yeah, only 1 attack gets through. Game Brain in the end phase, putting back swords. Only swords. Let's see. Game Brain is not going to use the skill, it's just going to draw. It's going to bring out the Armed Dragon White. So not using the skill means he values the battle phase. Armed Dragon White is going to pop the Legendary Ocean, which cuts off Delicatus' resource game. But yeah, Delicatus knew that enemy controller was one of the 2 cards left in the deck. So not much he could have done. Here is Tribe, and that is enough for game. So we're going into a 3rd game, and we see that Delicatus unfortunately has bricked a little. Yeah, choosing to go, no, being forced to go first. The unfortunate break. Game Brain gonna use the effect of the skill, so looking at 2, adding 1. And here is that grass, so sending 6 cards to the graveyard, following it up with Melody. So here we're gonna see our good friend Armed Dragon White hit the field. And yeah, no battle phase because of the skill, so passing turn, but Delicatus hopelessly bricked. Game Brain still not opting to use his battle phase. And yeah, Gravekeeper's Trap is going to declare Legendary Ocean, but it's yeah, Warrior of Atlantis. I don't think that's going to help Delicatus out for now. It's going to summon the Warrior of Atlantis. Yeah, enemy controller take the Armed Dragon White. Premature Burial for the Warrior of Atlantis, but Gravekeeper's Trap says your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the graveyard. Ah, that's painful. Yeah. So Armed Dragon is just gonna attack and get stopped by Sphere Karibo. Things are not looking good for Delicatus. On the bright side, Game Brain is not using his battle phases. So, but Midora is gonna put back Delicatus's graveyard, and we're seeing Exchange of the Spirit resolve. Yeah, waiting room. Is this game? Yeah, apparently this is game. So, but now we're gonna see the awkward bit where the music stops. First of all, let's reset that. But we're gonna see the awkward matchup, namely the Exchange of the Spirits OTK versus the Exchange of the Spirits control deck. So let's see what Jazz Hands can do. He is allowed to go first, but Game Brain has the Midoras in the main deck. So let's see what Jazz Hands can do. So the Toon Tables, adding the Toon Ancient Gear Golem, that's gonna make the trade-in live. Graceful Charity then, drawing the Hero Leaves plus the 2 Clayman. Clayman is set. Activate Allure. And discarding the entire hand. And against other decks, this would be game. Activating the Exchange of Spirits. But Game Brain is not just playing any other deck. So we're gonna see Game Brain mill his entire deck. Jazz Hands does have a few cards remaining in his deck. Well, most of them actually. But Game Brain has the Midoras in the graveyard, so in the end phase, I'll put back the Armed Dragon Whites, Fossil Dyna, Swords. Not using the skill. Okay, so Game Brain does recognize that he has to go fast, but Jazz Hands just scoops it up. And Jazz Hands fully aware that this is kinda unwinnable, and he bricks. Must be bad. But Game Brain also doesn't have the OTK at the ready, so Jazz Hands can try to play for a bit. This Hero Lifts cannot be activated because, yeah, there's a monster on the field. Plus, Jazz Hands is on 2 Claymen, but Jazz Hands just very anticlimactic, realizing that this matchup can be won. So guys, that was it for this special +1 tournament. We might be doing more of these in the future, so if you want to take part in the next one, make sure to join the Speed Duel Discord. Description contains the link. I was Ryan Atlas, thank you for watching, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you haven't also already. Bye!